January 13th, 1982. Air Florida Flight 90 crashes in the Potomac, and a Metro subway train derails during one of the heaviest snows of the year.
I'm Pam Coulter, here along with WTOP Steve Thompson.
What we do know is that an Air Florida 737 jet has crashed into the Potomac River. It happened about 4 o'clock.
I was in the studio with Pam Coulter. We were very busy with snow closings, closing down school systems, and highways, and just about everything else. And I walked out, and Doug Backshot and everyone else were gathered around the scanners, listening to the police and fire, and I was told that there had been a plane crash, and we were trying at that moment to get confirmation of it. And I could listen on the scanners and hear the first units arriving at the scene saying, "Plane in the water, plane in the water."
We're getting more information right now. Dave Stoddard is near the scene. Dave, what can you tell us about the situation?
Well, Steve, I'm about a quarter to a half mile away at the Twin Bridges Marriott. I cannot actually see the plane, but the rescue operation is taking place between the north
The first thing that I heard was over a scanner that I had in my apartment was the National Airport Fire Department responding to the crash. And I just gotten off the telephone, wasn't listening that closely, and had been just looking at traffic conditions during the storm. And I hear all this screaming and hollering over their frequency, saying that there are people in the water, that we believe it's a 737 down. I then called WTOP with the information and tried to get my way up somewhere close to the bridge to possibly cover it as a reporter. And the thing that you could see was just lights, the lights from the emergency equipment, the helicopter between the two spans of the bridges, and the sirens. The sirens didn't stop for 3 hours.
Dave Stoddard at the scene, and Dave, we'd like you to keep that line open to you and discuss the information as it comes in with our editor, Ronnie Lieberman, and we'll...
Well, I was the editor on duty at the time, and I remember that it was an extremely hectic day. It was a snowy day. We had a lot of snow stories, and the traffic was bad. We had snow closings because of all the snow on the ground. And I remember that suddenly we heard on the scanners about the crash, and we right away alerted all of our reporters who were out in the street.
We do have several other WTOP reporters on their way to the scene.
It's going to be difficult for them to get in. They're having to hike in. Our Dave McConnell is trying to make it on foot now.
It was very difficult because after I ditched my car, I had to walk all the way over that rising land around the Washington Monument. It was very, very cold and windy, and it was still snowing, although the snow was beginning to abate. I did get tired, and yet I knew what I was heading for. I knew that I was heading to a disaster, and the adrenaline really got pumping.
Watching the rescue efforts as they continue over the 14th Street Bridge is WTOP's Dave McConnell in this live report.
I'm on the 14th Street Bridge near the Virginia side, Steve, and I'm watching helicopters coming down on the bank in front of
WTOP
me.
news time, 11 minutes before 5 o'clock, and we have news of a Metro derailment now. We go to Steve Thompson once
Interrupting that
again.
report from CBS News on the aircraft crash to talk about a Metro train derailment near the Smithsonian Station. Going toward National Airport. We're on the line now with Cody Fonsteel of Metro. Cody, what's the story on that one?
The train did derail in the tunnel under the mall near the Smithsonian Station. It was headed to National Airport.
Reporting now from the scene by a two-way radio report is WTOP's Ira Melman.
You obviously can hear helicopters hovering over us. Access to this story and covering this story has been totally cut off by the various authorities around. I will tell you what I see right now, and that is looking toward the Virginia
The overall
side.
feeling was a feeling that you were in a disaster movie. Sitting there or standing there in the cold, fog, dark, just hearing sirens, helicopters, police radios, fire radios, people yelling from one to another, just an overall feeling of almost an unreal quality of it not really happening, but the reality being there that it actually did happen and was happening.